Ulm, Neu-Ulm und Umgebung e.V. to actually make this possible so that we can have as big an audience as possible to spread across this message. Before we start, I'd like to give a self-introduction on why I'm doing this. Last year, I did my own Abitur in Germany, and I definitely was confused on what to do. I certainly knew that I wanted to go into engineering, but I did not know where I wanted to go exactly and what my options were. So I was for several months stuck in research actually, trying to figure out what exactly I was going to do for basically the rest of my life. And so I also had to present all of this once I found out about how higher education works over here. I had to present it to my parents. Luckily, cooperated very well. Um, However, I know that in many households, it can be a difficult thing for children. So, um, my request to you is to keep an ear open so that you can also make your children's life a bit easier on presenting this topic. And any questions, please state them in the chat and keep your mic muted, please. So, the first to the contents of the presentation today, the ways to do Abitur, because it's not a one-dimensional system. We'll get to that in a second. Then what options you have after Abitur and a comparison between universities. Higher education, how you can actually uh, get there and what options you have. The types of German universities, among which is Hochschule. We'll get to that also in a second. The option of Duales Studium, which is an excellent option to get both a degree and job experience, and something that Indians rarely consider, Ausbildung, instead of going for the academic route. All right. First to the ways to get Abitur. In India, it's very linear system, and you go basically all the way through school, get a degree, and enter job life after that. Over here, it already branches into several different ways of education right after fourth grade actually, through Gymnasium, Realschule, and Hauptschule. Gymnasium is the most known method of getting Abitur, depending on whether you're in G8 or G9. G8 simply means that there are 8 grades, so 5th to 12th, and G9 is 5th to 13th grade to get to Abitur. Hauptschule, as you can see, goes from 5th to 9th, and 5th to 10th is Realschule. You can also interchange in between Hauptschule, Realschule, and Gymnasium at any point. So if you enter Realschule, it is by all means not excluding yourself from doing Abitur. You have the option to switch over to Gymnasium at any given grade. It is very case dependent, so I would definitely consult with teachers and check if that is a possibility. What I can definitely say is I actually had the case of one of my classmates coming from Realschule. I believe it was from 6th to 7th, his 6th grade. Um, Midterm scores were so good that they decided to move him over to gymnasium. And yeah, there was barely any issue. The level was, of course, a bit different since the learning paces are also adjusted. Um, you can then, after Realschule, if you've gotten your Realschulabschluss, go to FOSBOS, Fachoberschule or Berufsoberschule, which is 11 to 13. If you are not in Realschule, you can go through Hauptschule, do your Hauptschulabschluss, then one more year, and you can go through Realschule, still enter FOSBOS, and attain Abitur that way. Um, yeah, as for what I can see right now, unless I remember something later. So let's get to the main part after Abitur. Um, First of all, I want you to also look into internships, which can be very valuable since oftentimes job experience is valued quite a bit higher, especially in engineering, which is quite a bit relevant for Indians. Um, the practical experience shows that, first of all, you're willing to put in the effort of actually going through work, and you're also um, capable of learning new things actually. I myself did an internship of 2 months right after Abitur, and actually it helped me secure the job position I got for Duale Studium, which I'll be starting later this year. Then we come to the point where I really, really insist on don't compare the school systems to avoid any and all confusion, since they're not built the same, and if they're not built the same, then they're not comparable either. So I know that many people want to have some line of reference so that they can connect things with each other, but really this is vastly different, and I want you to just look at the system as it is. And we come to the different types of universities in Germany, which are, yeah, the Oberbegriff, the general term, Hochschule, which is oftentimes mistaken for high school if you translate it literally. The actual translation is university if you look it up on any translator, really. Yep, got that. And the distinction between Hochschule, the general term, is between universities such as Uni Ulm or TU München, KIT, and so on and so forth. Um, and there is the University of Applied Sciences. These two have different focuses, which we'll get to in a second. Before that, one confusion that many people have is the difference between Fachhochschule and Technische Hochschule. Both cases, both are Fachhochschule. And the only difference that there is in Technische Hochschule is that the degrees are somehow connected to a technical field. So, for example, you could even have what's quite a common combination over here, at least for me. I'm studying computer science, and I've got many of my friends studying computer science with addition of business actually. So the connection between the technical bit allows it actually to be a degree in Technische Hochschule. Um, that may be a bit extensive, but just so you get the idea of what kind of degrees are connected to this. And the interchangeability, you can always switch between fields here. You're never bound as such unless you commit yourself to a degree. So you can switch between university and University of Applied Sciences at any given point. In fact, what I have heard so far from my parents, once you take a decision in India, if you want to study, say, electrical engineering, it's basically impossible to switch over to mechanical, for example, or for that matter, business, an entirely different field. That's not the case over here. You can at any point switch over degrees. You can also drop out at any point and just start something else if that's what you want to do. You're not bound by anything. Then we come to the focus of German universities. This is on universities such as University of Ulm, TU München, KIT, and so on and so forth. These focus on research, and the studies are meant accordingly. You always have subjects in maths. You're not actually trying to solve for a value. If you're given any theorem, say you're in calculus maybe, and you have a derivative to solve, it's not calculate a certain derivative of a given function. Instead, you have to prove that this general formula is valid for any derivative. So it goes further than this in very, very abstract levels. Um, the maths is generally very, very abstract and has almost no connection to reality. Um, it gets very complicated. I don't want to get into the details right now. Um, then we come to Fachhochschule, application based, which is actually much closer to Indian universities, which I realized with my father a while ago when he actually showed me what kind of subjects he had and what exam papers or well exercises were given to him. And yeah, it was more focused on if you have a formula, apply it and solve for a value. And so if I compare uh, the university and Fachhochschule, for example, in let's say, yeah, computer science, because that's what I can actually speak on. In computer science, you would have to maybe get a project done where you'll actually have to program something. In university, it's very rarely the case, and I personally have not even seen it. Um, so yeah, just so that you get the comparison between. In this case, I would actually make an exception. Yes, you can compare that to Indian universities. Now we come to the option of dual studium, which is only available in Fachhochschule for the simple reason that the practical part is quite big. Um, I'll explain that in a second. Uh, you basically have to first actually apply for a job, hence why it's stated over here work in firms. You are fixed to one company throughout your entire degree. It can be over 6 or 7 semesters, depending on the degree, even longer in some cases. You first apply for a position in a job, uh, apply for a position in a company, sorry, and then you apply to the corresponding university. Um, this comes in two forms. In Ausbildungsintegrierendes duales Studium, which integrates vocational training and your degree, hence why the IHK, which stands for Industrie- und Handelskammer. This institution is responsible for all work-related certifications. So I guess you could compare that to Indian diploma, I think. Um, yeah. So the way it usually works is that you have got a part of the vocational training, say during the time where there are no lectures in Fachhochschule, and then when you have lectures in Fachhochschule, you get all the theory. So you get both experience at a company and you get your degree. This is possible for both bachelor's and master's degrees. In fact, I myself am looking into it if I can do a master's dual or not. Um, the slight downside you could see is that unlike regular studium, you are fixed to one company only. The benefit of that, however, is that you almost always have job guarantee after the degree. Plus, you actually get the experience that you need for that exact company. So you're pretty much directly trained for the job as well. Now we come to the alternative of academia, Ausbildung. And this is a huge misconception among Indians that Ausbildung has unfortunately this negative connotation to it. Um, this is not unskilled labor, like some kind of cleaning help or something like that. We'll get to which kind of jobs you can attain through Ausbildung in a second. At any given point, say through Hauptschule, Realschule, or Gymnasium, you can enter Ausbildung and get basically learn by doing, on the job learning. Um, you also have got connected school, so you're not only doing work experience, but you're also getting theory lessons. Uh, but we'll get to that later. So now to that kind of jobs you can get first. Yeah, for those who don't know German that well, I can translate for a second. Immobilienkauffrau, Kaufmann would be something like a real estate agent. Fluglotse would be ATC control, air traffic control. Um, these jobs are highly complicated, honestly, and they have their own, how do you say it? They have their own method of teaching. No amount of theory in university will easily get you into these. There's a reason why some of these are actually behind Ausbildung, is because they require directly on the job learning. And there's one more thing actually. If your kid cannot perform in school as well, which is for many the case, uh, don't look at it as a bad thing, or definitely don't discourage your kid. That's literally the worst thing you can do. Uh, I'm not going to tell you how to parent your kid, but I can definitely tell you that throwing him to university is not a good option. If they cannot catch it quickly, they are not going to catch it pretty much at all. Especially in these cases, Ausbildung can be a great option if they're practical learners and can are better at applying things directly by doing it. So definitely keep an eye open for Ausbildung. This can be a great alternative, and in fact, one of my acquaintances, he actually recently met a CEO of his company, and yeah, he went through hospital. This is a rare case, but anything is possible, really. Then we get to the part of income, because, well, as I said earlier, this is not unskilled labor. This definitely has some level of complexity and skill to it, which is why the pay is also equivalent to what you would get even going through academic way. Now, this is only the entry level salary stated here in gross income, between 2000 and 3000. The growth opportunities are pretty much endless here as well. Certain fields, yes, there are restrictions, but you can definitely move around and kind of, you could climb your way up, and get a definitely a sizable income that you can live with. That would also then conclude our presentation. And yeah, for any further questions, if they cannot be answered today, which may be very well the case considering our time window here, you can send them to indiansknowing@gmail.com.
I can see that someone, Shamala, has raised her hand. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and my husband are taking part, and my husband would like to ask a question.
Could you please go to slide number, the one where you are showing the gymnasium, real school, and the university one, and just in a minute repeat because I missed that actually.
This part or which part?
Yeah, the Abitur, and then after this, I think the university part is there.
This slide, is it?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so the basic point is that if you enter Gymnasium, Realschule or Hauptschule, say your kid cannot enter Gymnasium. If you enter Hauptschule or Realschule, it's not kind of a ticket to no Abitur at all. You definitely have opportunities after that. Um, and you can interchange between these schools as well. So, for example, if you realize that maybe in seventh grade or something, it can be at any grade really, your kid has such good what's it called, grades, yeah, that he can change school into Realschule, or that for that matter, even from Realschule to Gymnasium. Um, you can change between the schools. It can also happen in reverse, that you are in Gymnasium, but your performance may not be adequate enough, and you go into Realschule. But you're not going to miss out on anything. You always have opportunities to get to Abitur. Um, Then, if you are in Hauptschule and you get your Hauptschulabschluss done, which is the yeah, how can you say it, high school degree or whatever you want to call it. Um, you can then go to Realschule, get your Realschulabschluss done, and enter FOSBOS, which is Fachhochschule und Berufsoberschule. That spans from 11 to 13th grade, and 13th grade would then be the finals, which is Abitur. So no matter which way you go, you can actually get to Abitur either way. Um, yeah, A friend of mine, he actually went through Hauptschule, then through Realschule, and then to Forstbus, and got his Abitur that way. Now he's studying in Uni Ulm. So anything is possible, really.
Yeah, sorry. So what you're saying here is that even for the late bloomers, the system is still
Yes,
supportive.
yes,
System is designed in such a way that the late boomers are also taken care of.
exactly.
They can still get to the final goal.
Yes. In fact, in Germany now, this is not what this presentation is covering, but I can definitely tell you there's Abendschule, which means basically when you're already working, you can actually visit a school and get your degree done during as a part-time thing. And you can also study while you're actually working. There's so Hochschule has got two distinctions over here between university and Fachhochschule. Technische Hochschule is a form of Fachhochschule connected to technical degrees. Um, the universities, so for example, Uni Ulm or TU München or KIT, they are focused on research, and Fachhochschule is focused on the application of theory. Both fall into the bracket of Hochschule, but you got to remember every university is a Hochschule, but not every Hochschule is a university. So yeah, I hope I could answer your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one,
And
please.
just
Oh,
one
yeah.
one thing, the university means it can be medical engineering or anything basically, right?
Yes, anything.
Yeah.
There are
Okay.
certain subjects that are only available in university, which are not available in Fachhochschule, but that's very case sensitive, and I can only give general information right now.
Got it. Clear.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Sanjeev, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi, this is Sanjeev here. I have a question that if my son is doing class 12 now,
Yeah,
after that, if he comes to Germany, how much funds I need to arrange? As a ballpark figure will help.
that I really don't know. I'm sorry. That's a very case sensitive question that I cannot even give a rough number on.
Okay.
Um, Sorry.
Second is if after class 10th, my son does diploma in computer science, is he eligible for further courses in Germany for
Yes, yes.
graduation?
In fact, you can. There's something called actually Abitur. There's a different term for it, Hochschulzugangsberechtigung, which basically means you have some kind of certification to get into any university. And even sometimes it's offered in diploma that you can get certain certification that allows you to study. But yes, you can definitely study one way or another, even post diploma.
Okay, thank you.
Good, Naresh.
Naresh?
Hi. So I came to Germany last year along with my son. Okay, he's in currently in 11th grade. Okay,
Okay.
and he's studying maths and physics high standard. Okay, and I want to see he done his 10th in India. Okay, so as per the German education system, he has to complete 3 years before joining any German university. Okay, so after 11th and 12th, okay, I think there is something called student college in Germany. Okay, that I think we have to do this student college before we are eligible for German universities. Okay, so the students who are studying in Germany, okay, who are doing 11th and 12th in Germany.
Yeah.
So what other options are available for them to be eligible for German university?
The answer to this question has got so many endless opportunities that I couldn't cover them even within the next 30 minutes. Uh, but I can definitely say that if you put in the research, if you contact any corresponding person, you will get a better information on this because uh, I'm sorry to say this, but I can only answer more general questions. The case sensitive ones I can't speak on.
Yeah. Okay. Hemant, do you have something to say on this one?
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to late bloomers and other topics,
Yeah.
I know at least a lot of couple of my colleagues who have taken the route. They've taken two routes. One, they've actually joined the dual Hochschule. So
Okay.
they started working at the office at the same time where uh, you're also finishing your studies
Yeah.
alongside, side by side. So one semester you're working, one semester you're studying.
Yeah.
And I also have a couple of colleagues who've taken a route where they finished their Ausbildung
Yeah.
and in electrics or any other topics.
Hmm.
But despite that, they were independent contributors for the software, and they got hired into software development because of their contributions in the community-based software development.
Hmm.
And once they got hired, they took the route of usually the phone studying, and
Yeah.
they finished their bachelor's and even their master's alongside their regular work life.
Hmm.
So this is also a possible. So not getting into university is not the end of the road.
Yeah. Not getting into university, I mean, the thing is, I think I need to state this for everyone. This country will in any way make it possible for you to attain higher education or further education in any form. Yeah, as you said, during the job, Fernstudium, for all who don't know, basically you are enrolled in a university, uh, which is not bound to any location. Your studies are mostly online. Your exams may be in person. That depends again on the university, though. But yeah, at any given point in your career, in fact, yeah, one of my friends, his mom, she's actually now going for a master's in biochem. Eventually, she wants to go for a PhD as well. So really, at any given point, you can study in this country as long as you have the required certification.
All right, we have someone called Prixie. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Shweta, and my son is in ninth grade now, and he's in international school.
Okay.
Yeah, now he's in ninth grade, but we saw him, he's not very much attracted towards technical field, and he is liking to go towards art side. So he likes fine arts and some drawing, sketching. So I would like to know, is there any possibility here or any good opportunity here in Germany, so he can continue his further education here?
Is To clarify the question, are you stating further education within his interest field?
Yeah.
Um, Truth be told, um, I can't answer that very well.
So I
Okay.
can I
Hi,
can
this is Alpana. Can I just jump in?
Yes.
So, Shweta, my daughter studied from the international school and did her higher grade or whatever in art, and she's done her bachelor in creative industries management
Okay.
from Berlin, is from a private university in English. So there are
Okay.
options available, and the field of career path would then be in advertising or communications, marketing, and so on.
Okay. Uh, may I know your name, please?
Alpana.
Alpana. Yeah, Alpana, can I connect you personally so that if I have any questions, I can ask you and
Sure.
hear out?
Yes, yes. You can write to the email ID we've provided, and we'll be happy to answer the questions.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot, Alpana.
No problem.
Contact you. Thank you so much.
Manju, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I have a very basic question. Like, my son is studying in grade 2 now. We just came here in this March only.
Mhm.
He started with his schooling. Yeah, still he needs some more time to adapt. I know this reality. Now, the question from other groups or other parents is that, like, to go to gymnasium, like a teacher will be the main person who will be telling whether he should go to gymnasium or Realschule or Hauptschule. Like, what is the reality, or how should we as a parent take it, or need to consider anything? I'm a
Um,
mechanical engineer. Yeah.
okay. So thanks for the question, first of all, and I think this is quite a important question for a huge amount of people actually. Um, I would definitely gauge on, first of all, how well the teacher actually analyzes your kid and can actually look for the right opportunities. Second thing is also make sure to watch your kid actually in terms of how well he's picking up on learning pace and how well he's picking up on especially subjects being taught in German language. So uh, I know that it can be difficult if your own German is not adequate enough to understand what your kid is actually going through. But usually, now I can definitely speak from my end that my mom was able to do this for me. Look at his emotional side as well. And that often reflects actually how well the kid is doing. Um, Depending on the factor of how well he's actually coping with adapting to a new system, accordingly, I would then say, okay, take a look into if he's actually going to be able to get through gymnasium right off the bat, basically, or you may need to put him into Realschule, Hauptschule. Definitely watch your kid in those terms because definitely made a huge difference for me personally.
So if I may jump in for a few things.
Yeah. Thanks.
So,
Yeah.
so Manju, ultimately, when he's reaching fourth standard, uh, based upon uh, based upon his motivation skills and his Norton will define where he will head to. So while the teacher has the sole veto where he'll head towards gymnasium and Realschule, but you also have a discussion. You can also have a discussion with the teacher and make this joint decision. It's not that gymnasium is the end of everything. You have other options as shown in the slide, which in the Real
Yeah.
Schule also, as the
Yeah.
gymnasium also, can lead us to the required path. So keep it open, and
Yeah.
essentially how well your kid adapts to the native language, and also with the subjects he needs to be taught, he to be learnt in German. These both gets him based upon how well he performs and how well he adapts to it. Then there will be a joint decision. You and a kid and your son plus the teacher can jointly make it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much for this answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Vatsala, can you please?
Hello. So I had two questions related to Abi, and one being like, what are the subjects you can choose for Abi? Like, what subjects make more sense to do in colloquium, like the mündlich Abi, and what subjects like what to expect and what to expect in the Deutsch Abitur, because it seems like we have to write the Deutsch Abi for 7 hours. So
Okay, the 7 hours is quite a surprising number to me, but regardless of that, what subjects are offered in your school? And in my case, it was actually also Kooperationskurse. So yeah, courses that were shared between different gymnasien. As of what subjects are offered, that depends on the school. In fact, in my school, there were several courses which weren't offered because there were just not enough students. In terms of what makes sense, that is a very individual thing. There are people who I know that had certain Abitur subjects, and what they're doing right now is not even closely connected. In my case, I had maths, physics, and actually Wirtschaft, so business. Um, it did make sense in my case. However, um, most don't even have it figured out by 12th or by 13th grade. So really, yeah, my honest advice would be take the subjects you're genuinely interested in, and parents, just please close your ears for a second. Sometimes take the subjects that you know that the teacher's going to give a better grade in. That definitely helps the grade at the end. So in terms of what subjects, very case dependent, and there are people who sometimes just copy off of others in terms of the course selection. As to what makes sense for you personally, as I said, either go for the grade or go for what you're interested in, and see if you already have a field of interest you want to go in later in job in terms of your education, higher education, then yeah, for example, I mean engineering, I don't even have to mention. Everyone knows which subjects can connect with engineering. Yeah, that's the answer I would give.
Yeah, and so is there something like you can choose only two of the Science subjects like Naturwissenschaftlichen Zweig, or you can choose all three or only one?
That changes each year with Abitur. I don't know which year Abitur you're in, but I would definitely then look into. I think there's Leitfaden for that, so look into that. You'll definitely find the details over there, and it can also depend on your school, on what they offer.
Okay. And what are like the questions in Deutsch Abi? Because our school, the Gymnasium in Herzogenaurach, it
I
is
gotta stop
really
you right
just.
there. I'm sorry. I did not write Deutsch Abitur,
Oh,
so
okay,
I've got no idea.
okay.
So, Vatsala, my daughter is doing 11th standard, and she's having some. She's chosen her subjects. So, if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to the Indians in UL at Gmail. And based upon what questions you are, we can support you there. Okay.
If there are questions that are also specific to the school itself, then connect to, usually there's some kind of Berater. I had Berater for Abitur, Oberstufenberater usually called. Contact them, they can give you the most accurate information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Rupali, please go ahead.
Yeah. So my name is Rupali and my daughter is in international school, ninth grade. So I want to know that to get admission in university, which German level is required?
One second, I got a black screen. Okay, there we go. So in terms of what certification is required, that depends on the university. Usually it's stated on the website directly. It can be C1, can also be, yeah, usually it ends at that, but it can be different. There may be even other certifications required. In terms of applying through either Abitur or for that matter IB, for all those who have kids going through IB right now, or even in future.
Mhm.
It is very much possible to study in German universities. In fact, one of my acquaintances in university, he got his IB accredited and was basically able to yeah, get it converted, you could say, to the
Mhm.
equivalent of Abitur and get admission.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Aishwarya, please go.
No, my question was for higher education, like the bachelor's level and the master's level, is there also a Berater here in Germany that I can go to or inquire about some courses in universities?
The best answer would be there definitely is someone, and that person is probably working at that university. You should definitely contact them because every university has a slightly different structure and yeah, slightly different details everywhere. So you will definitely have some kind of contact, either stated at the university website directly or whatever service hotline they have, they'll have some kind of contact available.
Okay,
Simplest would
okay,
be
thank
that
you.
most of the universities actually have, so which course you're preparing. If you look at the university website, you can reach out to the secretary's
Exactly.
line. So just send out an email to the secretary when it comes to, let's say, course specific stuff. And if you're looking for admission related topics, then every uni has a foreign office. And you can contact
Okay,
the foreign office foreign to reach out in terms of, let's say, you as an international student, what sort of options and what questions you have.
okay. Okay, thank you. Actually, I was looking for some of my friends back in India, so what options they can choose for master's level or something. So yeah, just a
One thing that may
question.
be interesting for international students, oftentimes degrees are actually offered specifically for international students. The courses are also entirely in English. Um, that may be something you want to share with them.
Okay, thank you.
Sudeep, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Shaurali. I mean, this is not directly a question to Shreya, but just to know. I mean, my question is for all the students. I mean, we have a lot of Indian students here and around in Ulm, and for any other students. Um, do we have any consultancy who can explain all these kind of things, like going to universities, and because we are not brought up in Germany, so I mean there are a lot of things we don't know. So do we have any consultancies which are provided by government? I mean, like I mean the stats or something like that. I mean, does anyone know or?
Personally, not that I know of a government institution. If anyone has further information on this, please hop in.
So what happens, surely, is from the school itself, you'll have the berater, and also you'll have a contact person in the
Yeah, yeah.
Arbeit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how the school has a specific person in the school itself, and
Mhm.
also a contact point in this Arbeit. So these are the two contact points. Each and every student and pupil gets
Yeah, yeah.
the
Mhm.
information, and they keep it the limit to that, and that sort of provides the required information. And
Mhm.
in the 11th standard, in at least in the school where my daughter goes, there it is there they have a quite a 1 day complete orientation session. And in
Mhm.
that orientation session, the Arbeit team goes through with all the kids, and also they bracketized which
Mhm.
specific stream the kid wants to group of kids wants to take. So they will
Mhm.
give you all the required information.
Ah,
So this
okay.
orientation, this definitely happens in the
Mhm.
grade 11.
Okay.
Yeah, and this gives the steps, and it doesn't end there. There's also sort of a set of orientations. You all and the kid can also get a
Mhm.
series of questions and answers he can get from the internal responsible person from that specific
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Schools.
So this
Okay.
is yeah, this is completely done, since it's all done given by the government. So it's all
Yeah, 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 yeah.
handled within the school itself.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Uh, Aishwarya, actually, you had a lot of questions on this international students, right? So there are these links which pasted in the chat. Uh, it's a complete organization called DAAD, Deutsche Akademische, that provides a lot of information on how you can apply for your students in either it's bachelor's or PhD or so it's quite detailed, and every university is listed out, and you can also get all the admission criteria, everything listed there.
Okay, I do not see anyone raising hands.
Yeah, one last question I would be asking from my side
Yep.
regarding learning language for the Germany. Like I have heard there are certain levels like A1, A2, A3. So or sorry B1. So can it be done from India itself before coming to Germany?
Anyone has
Certain,
information on this?
certainly you can do it from India also.
So all the five certificate A1, A2, B1, B2,
Make
C1.
sure make sure that the exams is of Goethe Institute.
So, as far as I know, Goethe in India does not provide beyond A2.
Okay.
You have also in Lingua, which is in India, especially in Bangalore. So you have in Lingua, and they appear provide all the way up to B1, B2.
And any reference may I get if available, like how to approach in this direction?
Nothing, just you have to go there and register for your classes.
So
Check their
Hemant,
websites, you get it. Because their exams are recognized here positively.
Thank you.
Do we have any further questions?
Hi, this is Sidhu. I have a question regarding the German knowledge of the parents. How does it play a role in kids' education? I know, here most of the people are young parents. They would have come all the way from India, so they would not have got opportunity to learn the language. So how is it going to affect? So this is a general question. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can give you a decent answer on that. It affects quite a lot of things actually, especially on understanding where the kid's at, because yeah, there may be a case where you have a PTM, and there you'll of course need to understand what the teacher's saying, even in terms of administrative documents, organizing them, reading them, especially when it comes to any form of financial aspect connected to schooling, or for the matter, even university. Um, Definitely educate yourself in some way. I know that many don't have the opportunity or the time for that, but if you do, certainly look into it, because especially, yeah, for the young parents, and if your kid is still going through preschool or Grundschule for that matter, it definitely makes a difference, and you'll make your kid's life a lot easier by learning German.
thanks a lot. Very informative.
The other way that you can actually enhance the German language of your children themselves is basically the after school facilities that are there. If, for example, in Grundschule, that is the primary school, you have the Schulbetreuung or the Hort, where after school care is given. Well, unknowingly, the child really picks up the language beautifully.
yeah, and one other thing that needs to be remembered is that the the whole approach of education, our whole approach of bringing up children in Germany compared to in India is totally different. So in Germany, the approach, the idea is to make the children independent. Um, that starts all the way from the kindergarten to make the children independent. So in India, I think most of the parents are running after the children, trying to tell them to study and all that. But that should happen far less in this culture. So I think the child should become more independent. That system helps in that. So I think, and of course, we do have to, push the kids a bit, but usually it should be good part is taken care by the system, and we should also, as parents, in the home, we should make sure that the child is made independent. The child is understanding the responsibility. So we should also help the child get to there. And the other thing is, we also have this translate tools, a lot of translate tools. If at all the German of the parents is not good and they still want to teach a topic or two, it's still possible. So it's not like we are completely blind, but we can translate, understand the concept, and tell the children. But of course, the children needs to pick up those words that would be in German, and that's not something that we can help with if the language is not good.
One thing I've actually got to add to, yeah, being independent and learning how to work on your own, it's actually a massive factor in university, because over here you're given a lot of freedoms, and it's up to you on what you want to do. But got to also remember, with a lot of freedom comes a lot of self-responsibility, which I had to learn pretty much the hard way. But yeah, it's a huge factor and makes a big difference later on.
So we're a few minutes away from the end of the session.
Yes.
So just that if you have any questions, further questions, we can have some extended session. Otherwise, you're welcome to write to us at Indians in Ulm. And on behalf of the association, I would like to thank you, Shrey, for taking time and presenting such a brilliant presentation, and also giving all the necessary inputs to all the parents and every one of us. Yeah, thank you very much.
Credit for the presentation goes for my mom, but thank you otherwise.
Yes, thanks also to Mohana. And to all the participants also. I think a large part of them stayed till the end.
Yeah.
It was very, very good. Thank you.